السلام عليكم ومرحبا وأهلا وسهلا بكم في درس جديد. Peace and hello and welcome to a new lesson. Today's lesson is about making bookings in Arabic in an easy, simple and basic way. الحجوزات bookings, and it's the plural of حجز in Arabic. حجز is a booking or reservation. حجوزات is the plural. So حجز is the singular noun. حجوزات in the plural. It's important as well to go through dates and a month because you might need them when you're making bookings. تاريخ refers to date and it also means history. So if you're studying history, you can say أنا أدرس التاريخ. I'm studying history, and it also means date. So تاريخ اليوم, today's date. If you're asking what's today's date, ما تاريخ اليوم. Notice that in Arabic, when we're doing noun annexation, we're reversing the order. So تاريخ is first, and then اليوم, which means today, which is the reverse order of English, today's date, but instead we're saying date of today, literally. So what's the date of today in other words? Another example that I like to use, for example, the letter bin. In Arabic, we say سلة القمامة. Salla is a basket or a bin. Qumama is litter or rubbish in Arabic. So we kind of reverse the order. Also, when we're using adjectives, a beautiful house in English, you start with the adjective first and then the noun. But in Arabic, it's baytun jamil. So we start with the noun first and then the adjective. So just in case you're a bit confused. Today's date is the 4th of April, let's say. So in Arabic, we're going to use ordinal numbers. تاريخ اليوم هو الرابع. So أربعة is 4. الرابع, the 4th. تاريخ اليوم هو الرابع من أبريل. 4th of April. So April means April. I think that's quite easy to understand. Now we have some key differences is that some countries like in Egypt, Sudan and the Gulf, they use a different type of calendar, and other countries like in Lebanon, Syria and Iraq use another type of calendar. So I'm from Lebanon, and in Lebanon we use these ones. Someone else, another Arabic person from Egypt, let's say, or Sudan or the Gulf, they will use these ones here on the right side of the screen. Let me start with these ones because they're easiest, because they're kind of similar to English. So January becomes يناير. February becomes فبراير. March, مارس. So kind of similar. April, إبريل أو أبريل. Both are accepted. So you'll find both in the dictionary. May, مايو. June, the j becomes a ya. So it's يونيو أو يونيا. This is how it's pronounced. July is يوليو أو يوليا. August is أغسطس أو أغسطس. And September is September أو September. So both are accepted. So September أو September. And you've got October, which is October again in Arabic, and November, which is November in Arabic, and December, which is December. So very similar with September, October, November, December. August becomes Augustus. June and July, Junio and Julio, or Junia and Julia. May is Mayo. April is straightforward again. April, I think, is the easiest one for you to know. April. And March becomes Maris. February, February, and January, Yanair. And the ones that I grew up with personally, كانون الثاني, January, شباط, آذار, نيسان أو نيسان, أيار, حزيران أو حزيران, تموز, آب, أيلول, تشرين الأول, تشرين الثاني, وكانون الأول. Now we also have the Hijri calendar, which is a lunar calendar. So Muharram is the first one, Safar, Rabi' al-Awwal, Rabi' al-Thani, Jumada al-Awwal, Jumada al-Thani, Rajab, Sha'ban, Ramadan, Shawwal, Dhul Qa'da or Dhul Qa'da, both are correct. That's why I've added here an additional diacritic. And Dhul Hajjah or Dhul Hijjah, both are accepted as well. So both can be used. So if you live in Saudi Arabia, for example, you would obviously come across the Islamic Hijri calendar. And obviously the time, الساعة الواحدة. So you can always go back to the lesson about the clock to go through this in detail. الساعة الثانية, الثالثة, الرابعة, الخامسة, السادسة, السابعة, الثامنة, التاسعة, العاشرة, الحادية عشرة, الثانية عشرة. So from 1 to 12, and we're using ordinal numbers. Note that with the first we say al-wahida, al-thaniya. We don't say al-ula. So when we're using ordinal numbers, normally we say the first al-awwal, the second al-thani. But when we're speaking about the clock, we say al-wahida, not al-awwal, al-ula. And that's explained in, again, the lesson about time. Okay, let's begin with our first conversational text. Let's say you're on the phone with a booking agent, with an airline booking agent, and you want to book a ticket to Beirut. How nice, my home country. So first of all, I want to book. So we're going to use the verb hajaza. Hajaza is verb to book. So uridu, that means I want to. Let me read the text first, and then we'll go through it one thing by one thing. أريد أن أحجز تذكرة سفر إلى بيروت. حسناً, she says. ما تاريخ السفر? Or we can say ما تاريخ المغادرة؟ 5 من يونيو. وما تاريخ العودة؟ 3 من يوليو. هل تحب الجلوس قرب الشباك؟ أو هل تحب الجلوس بجانب الشباك؟ نعم، وأفضل مساحة إضافية للساقين. كم شخصاً معك؟ معي زوجتي و3 أطفال. نحن 4 أشخاص. حسناً، تذاكركم جاهزة. هي في بريدك الإلكتروني الآن. أتمنى لك إجازة سعيدة. So, firstly, I want to book. أريد أن أحجز. So, I want to, you have to use the particle أن, which literally will mean to. I want to. أريد, I want. And to. أريد أن, I want to. أحجز, book. And the verb, the present tense verb after أن is in the subjunctive case and it takes the fatha vowel, just in case you're wondering. أريد أن أحجز تذكرة سفر. تذكرة is a ticket. So it could be a ticket for the cinema, for the theater, for, travel. So it's just a ticket, تذكرة. And it could be easy to remember because ticket starts with a T and ends with a T, and same thing with the Arabic one, تذكرة. But obviously, if I'm in a pose, we don't normally vocalize the round ta, so we just say تذكرة. But if there's a word after, we're going to vocalize it. So تذكرة سفر. حسنا. حسنا means okay. حسنا. ما تاريخ السفر? So what is the date of travel? سفر يعني travel. ما تاريخ السفر? What's the date of travel? Or she could say ما تاريخ المغادرة? مغادرة يعني departure. You probably have come across المغادرون in the airport, which means departures. الخامس من يونيو, the 5th of June, so يونيو June. وما تاريخ العودة? When is the date, the return date? So العودة, the return. الثالث من يوليو, so 3rd of July. So it's going to be just over a month. هل تحب الجلوس? Do you like sitting? جلوس is the noun sitting from verb جلس, to sit. قرب الشباك. So قرب means next to. Oops. Let's just use the typing. قرب means next to, and we could also say بجانب. بجانب as well means next to. It's just giving you two synonyms which are widely used. شباك is window. Same thing as نافذة. شباك is more commonly used in daily conversation than نافذة, by the way, but نافذة is the preferred choice for written text for some reason. So if you like sitting by the window, you can say نعم أحب الجلوس قرب الشباك. أحب الجلوس قرب الشباك أو بجانب الشباك. So he said نعم وأفضل. أفضل is I prefer, from verb فضل. أفضل مساحة إضافية للساقين. So مساحة is an area. إضافية is extra. للساقين for the legs. Okay, so للساقين for the legs. كم شخصاً معك? How many people are with you, literally? So just before that, going back to this one, أفضل مساحة إضافية للساقين. It's where normally if you're sitting in an airplane and you're not comfortable with the normal seats and you want to sit, let's say, by the exit where there's more room. So that's where you would then use this phrase, مساحة إضافية للساقين. كم شخصاً معك? How many people are with you, literally? So notice that after كم, we're going to use a singular noun always. So شخص is a person, but أشخاص is in the plural and it means persons. Okay, so when we're asking how many in Arabic, the counted noun after كم, question tool, is always singular. For example, how many books have you got or are with you? Now we're going to say كم كتابا معك. So we don't say كم كتبا, never. We say كم كتابا معك. And we're using this adverbial مع, okay, which literally means with. So as you might already know that in Arabic we don't commonly use a verb to have like in English, and we substitute with adverbials and prepositions, such as عندي, we say I have something. عندي لدي. لي. And معي, that means that I have the thing with me right now. So that's different. So that's why she's saying كم شخصاً معك. That means literally how many people will you have with you present at the time. So معي زوجتي. So with me, literally, that would mean or be equivalent to I have. معي زوجتي, my wife. So زوجة is a wife. زوجتي, my wife. وثلاثة أطفال, and 3 kids. طفل is a child. طفل. أطفال in the plural. نحن 4 أشخاص. We are 4 people. حسناً, okay. تذاكركم جاهزة. تذاكر is the plural of تذكرة. جاهزة means ready. Now, we use a singular feminine adjective because تذاكر is non-human plural. So for non-human plurals, we're going to use a singular feminine adjective, just in case you're wondering about that. هي في بريدك الإلكتروني الآن. So it is in your email, electronic mail, literally, now, الآن. هي referring to التذاكر because again, it's going to be singular feminine. So we're going to use هي. Okay. أتمنى لك إجازة سعيدة. أتمنى is I wish. We can say أتمنى لك ليلة سعيدة. I wish you a good night. So إجازة, I wish you a happy holiday. إجازة سعيدة. We use سعيد for many things. Happy, the adjective happy. So عيد سعيد, happy عيد, literally. Or it could also mean happy birthday. So we like to use this adjective quite a lot. And over here, you can look up in a dictionary, verb حجز. حجز, يحجز in the present, and you can say يحجز. So both are accepted with a dhamma or with a kasra. حجز is the gerund, حجزا. Now to ask about the duration of the journey or the flight. رحلة literally means a journey. So we're going to use verb استغرق. كم تستغرق? How long does it take? كم تستغرق الرحلة إلى, let's say, إلى بيروت. كم تستغرق الرحلة إلى بيروت. Now it's a bit tricky to pronounce, so I'm going to break it up for you. So كم تستغرق. كم تستغرق الرحلة إلى بيروت. تستغرق, that means she takes, literally, because everything in Arabic is either masculine or feminine. الرحلة ends with التاء المربوطة, so it's a feminine noun. So she takes. Okay. تستغرق ساعة تقريبا. It takes an hour approximately. تقريبا, approximately. Or we can say تستغرق ساعتين in the dual form. ساعتين. So in the dual, it's either ألف نون, so ساعتان, or it could be ساعتين. What's the difference? The difference is just the grammatical, the inflection or the grammatical case. So ساعتان in the nominative case, ساعتين in the accusative and genitive case. So تستغرق ساعتين, because in this case it's the object. So we use ساعتين. So no need to go into detail into the grammar, but you can just look at the template and use it. So تستغرق ساعة, تستغرق ساعتين, or if it's 3 hours, 3 ساعات, 4 ساعات, 5 ساعات, 6 ساعات, 7 ساعات, and so on. So why do we say ثلاثة and not ثلاثة? Because gender disagreement. So you can go back to the numbers lesson again for more details. So originally it's ثلاثة with التاء المربوطة. But because ساعة is a feminine noun and we have gender disagreements, so when we're counting something, it's going to be the opposite between both. So ثلاثة ساعات, 3 hours. The previous example is difficult to pronounce. That is تستغرق. We can use ما مدة الرحلة. What's the flight duration? مدة means duration. مدة الرحلة, flight duration. Again, another example of noun annexation or مضاف and مضاف إليه. So ما مدة الرحلة؟ ساعة, تقريبا ساعتان, 3 ساعات, 3 hours, so same thing. Now to ask about the price of the ticket, so we can use ثمن, which means a cost, أو سعر, which means a price. So same thing. I'm just giving you 2 very common and widely used synonyms. ما ثمن التذكرة أو ما سعر التذكرة. ما ثمن التذكرة أو ما سعر التذكرة. And the reply ثمن التذكرة, the cost of the ticket, أو سعر التذكرة, the price of the ticket, followed by the price. And we're going to try to read the number. For example, على الخطوط البريطانية, if you're going via British Airways, 100, so we're going to start with 100, just like in English, 100 و. Then when we're counting now with these 2 numbers, we're going to start with the ones and then with the tens. So 177. So we're going to imagine that there's a wow here. So 100, just as in English, but then we start with the ones first and then with the tens. So let's say this was 3. So if we had 173, so 173. So we start with the ones always before the 10. So it's kind of like saying 103 and 70. 107 over here and 70. So على الخطوط الماليزية, for example, 300. That's 300. So 100 is 100. 300 is 300. 307. So we start with the ones first. وسبعون and 70, literally. على الخطوط الإماراتية Emirates Airlines 200. So 200 is 200. 100 200. 217. 17. 217. 17. And obviously you can add the currency, whether it's dollars or, pounds and so on. في السينما. Let's say now you want to book a cinema ticket. You're at the counter. So أريد أن أحجز تذكرة. I would like to book a ticket. And the lady at the counter says, أي فيلم ستشاهد? What kind of movie are you going to watch or see? So verb شاهد, verb to watch. أنا أشاهد التلفاز. I watch television. أي فيلم ستشاهد? We use sa for the future as a prefix. What movie are you going to see or will you see? So sa, that means will, a future prefix particle. You could ask, what kind of movies are there? ما الأفلام الموجودة? What movies are there? موجودة means present. So موجود is present in the masculine, موجودة in the feminine. Now, because أفلام is a non-human plural, we're going to use a singular feminine adjective again. So موجودة instead of موجود. هناك means there or there is, literally. So هنا is he, هناك there is. Just as in English you say there is something, in Arabic it's the same, هناك. هناك أفلام رومانسية. I think you might know what romance is. So romance, romansiyya in Arabic, we use the ya of attribution. And I've explained that like a couple of times in previous lessons. Just like when you say, أنا من لبنان, I'm from Lebanon. أنا لبنانية, I'm Lebanese. Or أنا لبناني in the masculine. So same thing, the ya of attribution attributes something to a certain attribute. So romansiyya, romantic. So as if you're using a suffix in English, like romance, romantic. So you're adding the suffix at the end. Same thing over here. أفلام الحركة, حركة means action. So, and in Arabic, al-harakat, when we're referring to fatha, dhamma, kasra, because they have some sort of action in them versus when there's no vowel. So أفلام الحركة. والإثارة, إثارة as in thriller. So حركة, movement, literally, or action. إثارة means thriller. رعب means horror. أفلام رعب. أفلام وثائقية, documentary. So وثائقية. أفلام كوميدية, from comedy, كوميدية. أفلام موسيقية, from موسيقى, which means music. أفلام الكرتون, that means cartoons. Or you can say الرسوم المتحركة, that means رسوم is the plural of رسم, which is a drawing. متحركة, that means animated or has again حركة or action. And so it's kind of like saying pictures that are animated, animated pictures. So الرسوم المتحركة. Now to ask about showtimes, متى, so when are the showtimes? متى أوقات العرض. وقت is the singular, which means time, وقت, and أوقات is in the plural. متى أوقات العرض. هذه أوقات العرض. These are the showtimes, the showtimes. So again, we use هذه because أوقات is non-human plural, so we're going to use هذه as a demonstrative. So we don't use هؤلاء because that's for human. We use هذه for non-human plurals. هذه أوقات العرض. If we look at the examples over here, again, you can refer to the table of telling the time. For example, في الواحدة صباحا. So normally we say صباحا, but this is how it's written. I've taken this actually from a real description of movies. So الواحدة صباحا, الحادية عشرة مساء, الثانية والنصف صباحا, التاسعة والنصف مساء, الحادية عشرة مساء, الحادية عشرة والنصف مساء, الثانية عشرة صباحا, الثانية عشرة والنصف. That means and the half literally, which is what you say half past in English. صباحا. So أوقات العرض. أين تريد الجلوس? So where would you like to sit, or where do you want to sit? أين تريد الجلوس? But pay attention here, الجلوس, that means sitting, and it's a noun, it's not a verb. So you can say أين تريد أن تجلس, where would you like to sit, as in we use a verb, but over here we use the noun. أين تريد الجلوس, which means sitting. Because in Arabic we can always replace an plus the verb with the gerund. So أن تجلس can be replaced with جلوس, with the gerund. So you can say أين تريد أن تجلس أو أين تريد الجلوس. So we can replace أن plus the present tense verb with the gerund. You can say أفضل الجلوس, I prefer sitting, in في أفضل الجلوس في الصف الأمامي. أمام means the front. الأمامي kind of like saying frontish, so we add the ya of attribution again. So in the front row. في الصف الأمامي. وسط means middle, so you can say أحب الجلوس في الوسط. I like to sit in the middle. أو أفضل الجلوس في الوسط. أفضل الجلوس في الصف الخلفي. So in the back seat. خلف means back or behind, so في الصف الخلفي. Some useful vocabulary about food and snacks in the cinema. So we also say cinema, obviously, in Arabic. And we can say film or film. So both are the same. We've spoken about tazkira. Fushar is popcorn. And in colloquial Arabic, we call it bushar. Just if you're curious to know with the ba. But in standard, it's fushar. So we mentioned الصف الأمامي, الحجز, the reservation, أوقات العرض, showtimes. مرطبات, refreshments, مرطبات. And if you want to say if you like the movie, أعجبني الفيلم أو لم يعجبني الفيلم. So you can use these words. أعجبني, that means I liked it, literally. لم يعجبني, I didn't like it. So over here we're using a present tense form of verb أعجب, verb to like. And over here we're using the past tense, so just pay attention to it. And just a note about this one. Just want to annotate. So in English, you say, I like the movie, okay? So you are the subject and the movie is the object. So subject, verb, object. But in Arabic, we say أعجبني when we're using verb أعجب. أعجبني الفيلم. So actually, the movie is the subject and I'm the object. The ya over here is the object. It's the personal object pronoun which is attached to the verb. So it literally means something like the movie astounded me. So I'm the object. So أعجبني. هو أعجبني, referring to the movie. That means he literally astounded me because movie is masculine. So it can take you a moment just to get your head around it. So this is how we say it. I think that's kind of similar like Spanish in the way you say I like something. So أعجبني أو لم يعجبني, I didn't like it. تقييم الفيلم, evaluation of the movie or review. تقييم يعني evaluation or review. مسلسل, that means a series, like in a soap or a series. مسلسل. تقييم الفيلم أو تقييم المسلسل. ما رأيك بالفيلم أو ما رأيك بالمسلسل. So if you want to ask someone about their opinion after you've watched a movie, ما رأيك, addressing a male, ما رأيك, addressing a female. So رأيك, your opinion. Literally, what's your opinion about? This is how we express it in Arabic. We don't really use what do you think. We say literally, what's your opinion? رأي is opinion. And رأيك, your opinion. So رأي is opinion. رأيك, your opinion. ما رأيك ب? What do you think of? ما رأيك ب? So we have to use ب. ما رأيك بالفيلم؟ ما رأيك بالمطعم? What do you think about the restaurant? ما رأيك بالطعام? What do you think about the food? And so on. You can say something like طويل جدا, it's very long. ممل means boring. ممل. هادف, that means it's purposeful or it has a goal. هادف. You might be familiar with هدف, a goal, if you like to watch football. هدف is a goal. هادف means purposeful or literally goalful or something like that, has a goal. So أعجبني, I liked it, or literally it astounded me. Oh, ما أعجبني, it didn't. So you can use ما as well, or you can use لم. So if you're going to change it to the present tense, لم يعجبني, kind of like I didn't like it. So this is in the present tense. Or if you want to keep the verb in the past tense, ما أعجبني. So two ways of negation, using لم or using ما. And you can say it's entertaining, مسلي. And it becomes مسلٍ in the nominative case because it ends with the ya, just in case you're wondering. So ممل, مسلٍ, طويل, هادف, أعجبني, ما أعجبني, I didn't like it. المسرح, the theater. المسرح. So this is a picture of a theater. أريد أن أحجز تذكرة. So once again, and we've got different movies over, different plays over here. So a play is مسرحية. مسرح is theater. مسرحية is a play. أي مسرحية ستشاهد? What play are you going to watch or will you watch? أي مسرحية ستشاهد؟ ما المسرحيات الموجودة? So again, what plays are there or are available? ما المسرحيات الموجودة؟ هناك مسرحيات. There are plays that are romantic. هناك مسرحيات رومانسية from romance. مسرحيات كوميدية. مسرحيات موسيقية from موسيقى. مسرحيات للأطفال for children أو مسرحيات عائلية like for families, that is family oriented. مسرحيات درامية from drama. So we take some words from English over here. So they are not Arabic words, but we take them from English, like romance, comedy, and so on, and drama. متى أوقات العرض؟ هذه أوقات العرض. So one more time, it's the same thing. And ما ثمن التذكرة أو ما سعر التذكرة؟ ثمن التذكرة مثلا for example 137 317 213. أين تريد الجلوس? Or we can say أين تريد أن تجلس. So we can either use أن تجلس or we can replace أن تجلس with the gerund with الجلوس. في الصف الأمامي, the front row, في الوسط, في الصف الخلفي, in the back row. تقييم المسرحية. ما رأيك, addressing a male, أو ما رأيك, addressing a female, بالمسرحية. So now because it's feminine, we're going to say طويلة جدا. So instead of طويل, طويلة, because مسرحية is a feminine noun with التاء المربوطة. So طويلة جدا. مملة. مسلية is the feminine of مسلي. هادفة, the feminine of هادف. أعجبتني. So she astounded me, literally, because everything is masculine or feminine in Arabic. So the literal translation is she, referring to the play because it's feminine, because we don't have it. It's either she or he. So أعجبتني أو ما أعجبتني. I didn't like it. Okay, and if you look over here, if you're checking something online and you see these details. So for example, العنوان means the address. أوقات العمل. أوقات means timings. العمل, work. So timings of the work, literally, which in English is opening times or operating times. معلومات is the plural of معلومة, which is a piece of information. معلومات is in the plural, that means information. معلومات الاتصال. اتصال means connection. So معلومات الاتصال, that means connection information, or literally how to get in touch, contact information. Contact information. طريقة الوصول, how to get there. طريقة is a way, وصول is arrival or getting there. And in the airport, you normally have المغادرة والوصول. So you have departure and arrival, وصول. So طريقة الوصول, way of arriving or getting at a certain place. And you can see over here المترو أو القطار. أوقات العمل يومياً daily من الساعة 10 صباحاً حتى 5:30 مساءً. They made a mistake over here. Sorry, just correcting the grammar. It shouldn't have an alif. The tanween should be over here. معلومات الاتصال. That's not mine, by the way. It's from the internet. Contact information. العنوان, the address. So you have the address over here. الهاتف, the phone. البريد الإلكتروني, the email. الموقع is the site. الموقع الإلكتروني. طريقة الوصول, how to get there. You can either go by metro or by train. So المترو أو القطار. And it tells you exactly how. And that's for مسرح Shakespeare Globe. And finally, how to order a taxi. من فضلك, so please. من فضلك اطلب لي سيارة أجرة. سيارة أجرة يعني هي تعني تاكسي. So اطلب لي سيارة أجرة. Please order me, literally, order for me. اطلب يعني order. So من فضلك اطلب لي سيارة أجرة. حسناً, all right. The concierge is referred to in Arabic as خدمات الاستقبال والإرشاد. And actually this is also in part of a detailed video about travel. I'll leave the link in the description video and you can refer to 2 videos about travel, conversational. سيستغرق الأمر 15 دقيقة. So again, we're using the verb استغرق, but over here in the future, سيستغرق. He will take or it will take, referring to الأمر. So the matter will take. سيستغرق الأمر 15 دقيقة, 15 minutes. حسناً, all right. Let me just clear the annotation. مع سائق سيارة الأجرة, with the taxi driver. لو سمحت خذني إلى المطار. Take me. خذ means take. خذني, take me. خذني إلى المطار. خذني إلى المطعم. Take me to the restaurant. خذني إلى الفندق. Take me to the hotel. So أنزلني. أنزل means literally to drop down or put down. So أنزل means drop me or put me down. أنزلني عند صالة المغادرة من فضلك, at departures lounge. So sometimes it's called المغادرة, sometimes المغادرون. They use the active participle instead. So it depends. Sometimes it's صالة المغادرة and sometimes it's المغادرون. So you'll hear both. بكم الأجرة? How much is the fare? 20 درهما. For example, 20 dirhams. So أجرة is the fare. بكم الأجرة? تفضل, please have or please take. وساعدني بالحقائب لو سمحت. So please help me with the bags as well. ساعد means help. ساعدني, help me. حسناً, سوف أفعل. Yes, I will do. And that was everything for today. I hope it was a useful lesson. Thank you for watching. شكراً للمشاهدة والمتابعة. وإن شاء الله نلتقي في الفيديو القادم.